Hey guys, Morgan Treadwell here with West Texas Rangelands. Today on this week's Range Concepts, we're going to be talking about Plant ID. Now, as difficult as Plant ID may be, there's a lot of cool resources that are available for you in the field to make the very best decision. And these include websites, these include books, and apps for your smartphone. So we're going to be talking about how to integrate all three of these resources to help you make the very best decision and to kind of get your head around Plant ID on Rangelands. These are two of my favorite go-to books. Now, remember, I'm in San Angelo, so I'm focused on West Central Texas. This is my absolute go-to. It's written by George Clendenin, called Common Rangeland Plants of West Central Texas, and you can find this on Amazon. It's broken down into different functional groups, so shrubs and trees, forbs, grasses. And usually when I find a plant that I really like, I'll take a tiller or a seed head of it and just stick it in that book. What I also really value about Clendenin's book is that it provides the livestock and wildlife value and the management of that particular grass. Really, really helpful. Okay, I carry one of these in my office, in my pickup, and at my house too. Can't go wrong with Clendenin's book. Okay, the second one that I do not leave home or my office or my truck without is Range Plants of North Central Texas, written by Ricky Lennox. This is a really comprehensive plant ID book. It consists of forbs, shrubs, and grasses as well. Really good pictures. These pictures also include flowers, what it looks like when it's flowering, the identification of it, the value of it, and the management of it as well. Again, it includes grasses, forbs, shrubs, and trees. Range Plants of North Central Texas. So between these two, they're your absolute go-tos. Really comprehensive summaries of all common and dominant and subdominant range plants of Texas. Okay. The other books that I have in my collection that are helpful is just a field guide to wildflowers, trees, and shrubs of Texas. Okay. A field guide to common Texas grasses. This includes a key. What I really like about this book that was written by Hatch and others is that it includes a map of the dominant counties for that particular species. So this is green springletop. Okay, it includes a picture, a seed head, and all the counties that are found with this particular species. Field Guide to Common Texas Grasses. Second one that I like, it's a big one too, is a Guide to Texas Grasses written by Dr. Shaw. Now this one doesn't necessarily have pictures, but it does have stick figures of just grasses. Okay, so you're not going to find forbs or trees in here, and then also a outline of the Texas counties that have this particular species. Okay. Dr. Gould's book, Common Texas Grasses, an illustrated guide, is also another one that I really like. No pictures, maybe a little bit more scientific. This would be a book that I would consult second after looking at Clendenin's and Lennox's book, and then for more information, I would dig more into Dr. Gould's. So he provides kind of a little bit more of a rundown of what the identification looks like, and then also a general description on distribution and habitat, and then also general use, mostly related to wildlife and livestock. And then again, no pictures in this one, but stick drawings of what that particular species looks like.
Really cool app that is underutilized for plant ID, believe it or not, is Google Photos. So Google Photos isn't necessarily a strict plant ID app. What it does is it takes photo points of your picture and then compares it against its massive Google Photo database. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at a picture that I took last Sunday. And this is again in Google Photos. We're going to click the square with a dot in the middle, and it's going to take photo points of that picture. Now it pulls up common verbena, which is the correct family. It's not the correct species, but it gets us in the ballpark of it being in the verbena family. And from there, we can use Clendenin's book or Lennox's book to narrow it down to slender verbena. Now, one of my favorite apps is called West Texas Wildflowers. It's very deceiving though, because it's not just wildflowers. It has shrubs, trees, cactus species, and also grass species. Now, this is different than the Google Photos app because it's not using a photo to pinpoint it against other photos or compare it against other photos. It's basically keying it out. And you can choose to key it out by plant type, flower color, petals, etc. Or you can click the green box that says show 2713 plants. Now that's all the plants in the database. And from here, we can basically do a search for whatever plant that we're looking for. So let's look for Engelmann daisy. There's Engelmann's daisy. Shows all the photos that the database has. It gives a basic rundown of it in terms of information. It shows the map of West Texas counties where Engelmann daisy is known to occupy. It also shows the phenology and the time of observation, so when it's flowering. And it also breaks down a really good description of what this particular plant looks like, along with some different links. Now, the other really cool part about West Texas Wildflowers is that it has a partner called East Texas Wildflowers. This is the exact same layout as the previous app, but notice it has a lot more plants in the database. You can still key it out if you would like, but if you'd prefer just to see the list, you can say show 3,035 plants. Click that green box. And again, we can search by a specific plant name. So looking for Engelmann daisy, it brings up those same photographs. So there's quite a bit of overlap between the East and the West apps. But again, the East app had more plants in its database. Again, you can look at photos, information, map, description, and links. And these are all free apps. Another app that I like to use that is also free is called Noxious Weeds. Now, Noxious Weeds is put out by the state of Colorado, but there are a lot of overlap species between Colorado and Texas. This is not like the Google Photos app. This is more similar to West Texas Wildflowers, where it provides a list of all the species in the database. So let's go ahead and search for a species called giant reed. Giant reed is considered a noxious species nationwide, and so you can see several pictures showing identifiable characteristics of giant reed. If you click the green box called description, you'll see a general rundown of giant reed. Now notice it's going to be tailored to Colorado, but this is the exact same species that we have in Texas. So a lot of those same descriptors still apply. So let's start off with the plants of Texas rangelands. This can be found at rangelandplants.tamu.edu. This is probably the most cohesive virtual herbarium that exists for rangeland plants, but there are several different collections that plants are organized by. First are general brush and weeds of Texas rangelands. Second is toxic plants of Texas. Third is grasses. And fourth are wildflowers. So let's go ahead and look at toxic plants of Texas. It will take you to a list of what is available. Let's look at some threadleaf groundsel or senecio species. Here we can see any publications that are listed, a general description, habitat, toxic agent, signs of livestock ingestion, and any other pictures that go with it to help identify. On the right, you'll see a plant characteristics bar that will be similar across all of the collections. Flower color, growth habit, distribution, what ecoregion you can find these particular species in, and then what book it will be referenced in. Now, all of these toxic plant species will be listed in Toxic Plants of Texas. If you don't already have a copy of this book, I recommend that you get one from agrilifebookstore.org. Another website I like to use is wildflower.org. Now, this is from the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. You want to click to native plants and then search for plants. And this will be a cohesive database that is predominantly found in Texas. You can enter a plant name that you know of, or you can search by the plant family. You can search by state, by habit, or by duration. Also bloom characteristics, leaf characteristics, and size characteristics if you feel like keying something out. But let's just go ahead and look for Engelmann daisy. Okay, pulls it up. We'll click on that. Click search, and it will pull up what is Engelmann daisy from its plant database. So a lot of this information is pulled from the USDA NRCS website. It will give you different images, different characteristics, bloom information, distribution, growing conditions, benefit, and then other links to find more information. Another advantageous website to work from is the USDA NRCS plants database. And this is a comprehensive list of all species in all the states, but you can search for a particular species. So we're just going to go ahead and do a name search here. And we're going to look up white tridents. We want to be sure and click the common name to search for and not the scientific. Alright, takes us to white tridents. We can see several images, classification, and other links related to white tridents. What are really helpful are these PDF links to the fact sheet. This fact sheet will talk about general management, establishment, and also a general description of white tridents. The plant guide, however, is really helpful if you're debating using white tridents in a seed mix, because it's not only going to talk about the habitat or the distribution, but also the adaptation, uses, and status and planting guidelines for this particular species. Now, these are all really short handouts, probably 1 to 3 pages long, so they're not super lengthy. It just provides the relevant information from the USDA NRCS plants database concerning white tridents. Another part that's really useful about this website is if on this map, if we use the toolbar on the left side of it, we can zoom in to a particular state and also get an idea of what counties have white tridents in them, and also the status of that particular plant in that county, so native versus introduced. Now, if you're dealing with a species and you have no idea what it is, you can key it out, and a helpful tool to do that is from the USDA Plants Interactive ID keys. Okay, you can find this at nrcs.usda.gov. And what it basically provides is a keying tool for each state. So we're going to find Texas, click online. On the right, we'll see a list of all the species that are grasses in Texas. And on the left, we'll see an interactive keying step by step to identify a certain species. Now, if you think you know what it is, for example, big blue stem, you can click on that and it will take you back to that same plants database website that we just came from. But again, instead, if you want to key it out and work through each of these steps, it will narrow down the species for you, again, by traditionally keying it out. Last but not least is a plant image gallery of grasses and grass-like plants from the Noble Research Institute. So you can find this on nobleapps.noble.org and then search for Plant Image Gallery. Now this is based off of a fantastic book by Coffey and Stevens called Grasses of the Great Plains, a Pictorial Guide. Again, this would be another book that I would add to my reference list. It's got incredible pictures, and a lot of our Texas grass species are found in this book. But all of those same pictures can also be found online as well. And so if you do a search for the common name, just click this index, it's going to pull up all the different grasses and grass-like plants that are found throughout the Great Plains. And again, this is all by common name. And so if we want to take a look at big bluestem, it'll pull up a picture of big bluestem. It'll have several pictures here that are close up of the defining characteristics of big bluestem. And then it'll also provide a general description of its flowering, of its native status, of its growth form, and also of just a general description. However, the pictures on this website are probably some of the best pictures that I have ever seen. So if you're building PowerPoint presentations or doing any type of printing in a newsletter, I would recommend that you, with permission, of course, use these photographs because they're very well done.